Hi everyone, Sweet Then You Smell Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Lucy Dacus record, Home Video. This is the new and third album of rising indie star as well as singer-songwriter Lucy Dacus. Like many in the scene, she went mostly silent during the pandemic year, which is unfortunate because I'm guessing there were plans to release this project sooner rather than later, given that she spent 2019 teasing us with a load of singles that had cheekily similar cover art. But anyway, we started getting tastes of this record this past spring with a curious run of singles, starting with the skeletal and semi-ambient Thumbs, which features a soothing sound paired with some harrowing, violent fantasies. These fantasies intruding on Dacus's thoughts and storytelling as she essentially details her experience as being a third wheel in a situation where she, with someone who she appears to care about very much, is meeting with their estranged father, trying to be supportive of this person who she can tell very obviously in this moment is going through a tough time trying to process and just exist in this attempt at reconnecting. Now, again, instrumentally, this track is incredibly bare, but the storytelling as well as the forlorn vocals are enough to get the emotional message across. This is contrasted pretty strongly with the opening track, the pumping Hot and Heavy, that features a visceral mid-paced indie rock backing beat. I love the way the groove of this track slowly builds momentum, along with the shimmering pianos and guitars too. There's kind of a classic Elliott Smith-esque vocal overdub on Dacus's singing as well. The lyrics are beautifully written and sharply metered. They say so much, and yet every word that Dacus is singing just rolls off the tongue so fluidly. Each bar on this track hits like a sentimental, nostalgic rush of past triumphs and traumas. Overall, it's a righteous opener that gives this record a golden start. Then Brando was another great teaser to this record, which also showcased Dacus's knack for descriptive lyricism and storytelling. There's a hilarious and chaotic energy to the relationship being described on this track, as well as the dialogue. It's like I'm reading an ingenious rom-com script. The instrumentation on the track unfolds in a nuanced, cinematic way too. Now, VBS is maybe the weakest of all the singles due to its groggy, boilerplate indie folk backing beat, but at least the way Slayer gets referenced is hilarious. And the lyrics are pretty compelling on this one too, with Dacus describing what sounds like an experience at a Christian Bible camp, which I think is clear given the title and the references to preachers as well as praising God, while also taking time to take special note of the debauchery and flawed characters in between. And I say characters because I mean characters. Given the title of this project is Home Video, many of the tracks here run like short films with an incredible attention to detail, as well as witty dialogue that has me hanging on every word. And when I dug further into the record, I found many of the deep cuts to be just as gratifying as the singles. And a lot of these tracks seem to center around formative moments during Dacus's youth too. Whether that's on Cartwheel, which seems to be about being at an age where your friends are getting into boys and dating and not quite being ready to make that jump as well, and feeling almost betrayed or left behind when other people who you know or care about are making that transition. And I think Dacus, as a grown woman, does a great job of kind of portraying that fear and irrationality that a child might be dealing with in that moment. There's also Going, Going, Gone, which is a gentle, folky, cute ballad with some very bare guitars and gorgeous background vocals and harmonies. The lyrics smartly describe a cycle of first loves, eventually leading to protective parents who are dreading the day that their kids start dating and falling in love and getting their hearts broken. There's also Partner in Crime, which is a curious change of pace with its booming beats and kind of auto-tune affected lead vocals. Often these electronic-leaning indie tracks don't go over very well, and I don't really have a history of being particularly forgiving toward them. I mean, True Affection is my least favorite track from Father John Misty's I Love You, Honey Bear. Still, I think this track aesthetically does provide a great shake-up to the record. The sound and pacing on this track is pretty climactic as well regardless, especially during the ear-piercing crescendo of shrill guitars on the back end, which is a little messy in the lead-up, but gratifying at the very end all the same. We also have the heart-wrenching Please Stay, which is this warm and moving, what seems like I guess an attempt at making someone not just stay here in a certain proximity, but continue to stay on this plane of existence. Dacus's singing and her lyricism feature a type of assurance that is not only profound, but hard to come by. Then Triple Dog Dare is a fantastic, massive 7-minute closer that tries to, in a very meta way, tie this album and its many themes and emotions up, with mentions of after all this, there's still a lot to figure out, what was the end of the movie about, have I overstayed my welcome at one point, Dacus asks. The song moves through multiple passages, some of which are pretty huge, pretty gigantic, and despite the fact that all of these songs and their stories seem to be coming from different places, lyrically I think Dacus ties this record up quite nicely. Really kind of makes the whole thing seem way more conceptual than it might have without this song kind of bringing it all together. Overall, home video, I thought it was a really impressive, well put together, well produced, well written, especially on the lyrical side album. There were some points where instrumentally and aesthetically it ran a little too bland, a little too boilerplate indie folk and rock, but that didn't really take away from the quality of the songwriting too much for me. And sure, Dacus's particular style of songwriting, as well as measured performances, are not going to be for everybody. There are going to be people who maybe want something that's going to blow their pants off a bit more. Truth be told, the vocal performances are a little one note across the LP. But if you're in the search for something that is more cerebral and a bit more thought-provoking on the lyrical side, emotional as well, this should most definitely do it. I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8. On this one, transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Lucy Dacus, music forever.